Good morning, welcome to Milk Slinger. My name is Jennifer and today I am making a Tête de Moine. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, I'll have to look it up again, but I think it's Tête de Moine. Here's the easiest way to explain it to you. One of my friends gave me this, you shave off these little florets. So it is an Alpine cheese, it is a washed rind. A couple things that are different besides how you eat it eventually, which is going to be exciting. I'm only using between 5 and 6 gallons of milk because I don't want to make the cheese too big. It needs to be able to fit on the board. So I'm using this mold. A 4-gallon cheese, I think, will shrink down to like this. The proportions for the recipe are a 4-gallon batch of cheese. So I think I might just stick with those proportions because it's raw milk and so you always need less of the cultures. Okay, so here I am with the Geotrichum candida. So 1/32 of a teaspoon, I'm just taking out a bit. Like that. I don't know, maybe it should be more, no idea. Sprinkling that on top. And then these are the bee linens. 1/64 of a teaspoon is even less, which is actually about the same. That's too much. Just say like that much. Very, very small amount. The other reason I'm not terribly concerned about having too little Geotrichum and bee linens is because those molds are already prevalent in the cave, the same place where I'm going to be putting this cheese, and I just think that environment will hopefully help to boost whatever I have inadvertently emitted from this actual cheese. This is the clabber culture. You can see this is the cream on top, super creamy, but then you get down to the milk underneath and that's much more chunky. So I'm going to shake this up and then I will add about half of it to the pot. Ooh, spilled over, put a little bit. A little bit slumpy. It needs a little bit more of a set, which makes sense. It was such a small amount of rennet. I'm going to give it another 20 minutes. Yes, that's much better. So I'm going to cut these into columns, let it rest for 5 minutes, and then I'll cut them with the whisk. All right, going to let this rest for 5 minutes. Stir them first for 5 minutes to kind of get them going, become familiar with them. Be like, oh, we're going to be friends. I'm getting them to trust me right now. This is kind of my devious cheesemaker quality, that you get the milk to believe in you and then you go and knock the living daylights out of it. Now we're going to be raising the temperature to 116 degrees over the course of 15 minutes, which is a fairly quick rise. You can see how much these curds have broken down. They're juicy, they're soft. I'm going to turn it on low to start out for the first 5 minutes, and then I'll probably raise the temperature a little bit because this needs to come up fairly quickly. Yeah, I'm going to crank this up almost to high heat because 6 minutes to get to 115, it's going to take all of that. I feel like I'm in a race against the clock to get this temperature up. Can I do this in 1.5 minutes? 9 more degrees? Let's see. 15 minutes is up. Let's see what we're at. I'm going to give it another 1.5 minutes. 115. I'm going to cut the heat. You can see some of these are chunks that are coming up that are kind of clumping together a little bit. I'm just kind of keeping them broken. Let's do the test, the squeeze test, see where they're at. Stick together. They're kind of stuck. They don't quite break easily yet, but they feel soft. They do not feel springy or rubbery. That one was squeaky. So some of these are beginning to get squeaky, but they're still pretty tender and juicy. I'm going to let these sit for about 5 minutes, get my press ready, and then we'll transfer them over. Stop. So I've got this thing set up. Hopefully it will hold curd. It's a little bit hard to get the cheesecloth the whole way down in. I'm just going to crumble this in with my hands and try to fit it in as much as possible. It's going to be really full. Kind of breaking it up, trying to get this in. They squeak now. These are delicious. Really, really creamy. So you can see the curds the whole way up to here. I'm going to kind of squish on it. It's pretty low. I'm gonna let it sit just a minute and then I'll come back and work on it some more. All right, let's try to get this pressing. Oops, no, come back here. That didn't work. Now what? Don't laugh at me. I'm not used to molds that don't have bottoms. Get in there. Okay, there, it's back in. Let's try to get this out. There we go. While holding it down, where's my top mold? John, any idea? John, I brought my metal mold out here and I washed it. You're not even listening. I had the metal round. I brought it out and I set it here. It goes on top of it. It's a metal flat round.
You mean that thing right there? It's on camera.
My gum. It's light pressure for 30 minutes flip, light pressure, 30 minutes flip. Total pressing time of about 4 hours. It's not very long. So I'm just gonna keep after this for the first half hour to make sure it all fits in. And then it has dropped a bit. I was having trouble getting down in there, so I had to keep working at it and like loosening this and then pushing it back down. Now I'm gonna flip it and we'll see if this actually will work. I'm a little nervous in this container. Now that I think about it, last time I did a high temperature cheese in this mold, it did not really work that great. John, help me. Hey, John, can you help me? Can you push this out? You're gonna have to actually work with me here. Oh, good idea. Anyway,
maybe glass isn't the best.
Maybe not a glass idea. How about this? Oh, I hated this one. I hate it now.
Now you know why.
I know why, but why? Yeah. Ha-ha! Isn't that pretty? It's a tall cheese. I've never had a cheese like this. Woohoo! Okay, cool. I want to make a blue cheese like this, like a Stilton. Maybe that'll be next. Okay, do a flippy flippy. I gotta say, plastic molds are so freaking much easier than this stupid thing, but oh well. Continue at low pressure for another half hour or so, and we'll flip again. This did not go down the whole way to the edge, as you can see. How did we get this out last time? Oh, what the heck? Oh, I can just pull it out. And it comes out easy. Don't make it harder than it needs to be, people. Look how beautiful that is. This goes down through, if I can get it in. Ooh. Why doesn't this go in, John? Oh, this is ridiculous. This continues to be pressed at, I think, medium-ish pressure. That's actually pretty high. That's 60. It's gonna be fine. Maybe, or it won't be, we'll see. All right, gonna take it out of the press, but leave it in the mold overnight in a cool space. I'm going to cut this mold off. Oh! John! You help me? I can't do this stupid mold. I hate it.
You get smaller on that top side. That's the other side is smaller than the bottom.
So this side is wider?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so can you help me pull it out? I'll hold this part and you hold the thing. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. I need your help. Just put it down in like this, you say? You didn't think I would think that up, did you? I feel so brilliant. And I'm gonna put it on a plate in the downstairs bedroom. When I woke up this morning, it is hot in this house. It's like 65, 70. So I ran it down cellar and put it in the cheese cave just to like bring it down. So it's only been a couple hours, but this cheese has been at way too high temps. Oh, this came out so nicely. This is so pretty. Smells fine. It smells like a nice cheese. Let's weigh it. 5 pounds, 10, almost 11 ounces. It's supposed to be brined for 2 hours per pound. So that's 10 hours. That's this whole day. I'm probably gonna go to as late at night as possible. Uh-oh. I didn't think that one through. I need to put this in a smaller container because it is sitting on the bottom and it will not float. See if this works. Nope, it'll pop out of the kettle there. Dang it, you guys. I didn't think about everything this time. Will this bucket work? Yep, it's floating. Ah! I put the salt on and it rolled over. It's a spinny cheese. Okay, I'm gonna put it back up so it's upright. Stay upright. Oh, that's funny. I've never had that problem. I moved it and it flipped right over. Come on, stay upright, baby. Guess we can't bump this one. Stay, stay, stay. No, 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 don't go, don't go, don't go, don't. Stay. Stay. Okay, we're gonna say it's good enough. Nobody can touch this bucket. No, no. Stay put. Okay, don't move. Think. Just giving it a flip. It's a little bit wet on the bottom and it's sitting in some of that brine. I'm gonna dump off there and wipe it up later. It's so tippy. I love this. Yesterday I was supposed to wash it and get it going and I haven't done a thing to it. So now my problem is, where am I going to be putting this cheese? I found this container, but I don't know if it's gonna be big enough. I think it's really tight. I think it's touching the sides. Dang it. No, I think this should work. No, It's touching the sides. You need some airflow around the cheese. All right, so to make the wash, you need to have a light salt brine, which is a tablespoon of salt in a cup of water. Even though there's geotrichum candidum and B. linens in the cheese, you want to put a little bit of each of them into this wash, just for insurance. I'm gonna do just a wee dab of each. This is the candidum, this is a little tiny bit, and the B. linens. Another little wee bit. And technically this should last in the fridge for about 2 weeks or so. We'll see where we're at that point. You're supposed to wash the upright side, not the bottom, because that will get soupy, potentially. So I need to get this all over it. You can use a rag, and if you use a rag, you want to pour this into a bowl, then dip the rag in the bowl. You don't want to dip the rag back in. You kind of want to keep this clean. And just because this cheese is dry, I'm gonna do a little bit on the bottom, rub its little butt. I'm gonna set this in the cave. This is the one spot that I have. I could put this in. And it is not humid enough. This is a B. linen, so this whole place smells of B. linen. My husband had the brilliant idea to use a metal bucket, which is the only container I can find. Turn the bucket over top of it, and it fits. You can see a little bit of airflow under there. And the handle's in the way, but we're just gonna let it go. It's just looking like a cheese. I'm just going to lightly go all over this, focusing more on the upside rather than the downside. That's it, putting it back in the cave. Just feeling kind of dry. I don't know what to do about that. All right, you guys, I am really concerned about this. It does not feel like there's moisture in here, and I'm afraid it is drying out and getting ickety. We have got to increase the moisture in this, and I have a plan. I think it's actually kind of smart. You might be impressed. Give it a nice little sploosh. And then I'm going to wash my hands, rinse my hands. I don't wash them. I lie. I'm gonna put this down in the bottom. This is my genius idea. Be impressed. Voila. A little backpacky, not backpacky, like cheese cave without taking up all that space with that stupid bucket. And as we all know, space is at a premium these days. So I'm gonna stick this back in the cave. And now it's not labeled. Do you think I'll forget? No, I will not forget which one this one is. See if it feels more moist. Yeah, it does. It feels a lot less dried out. Look at that. Okay, I flipped it. Keep track of it, Jennifer. Feeling dampish. It actually seems to be holding moisture more. Plastic is touching this and sticking to it. Don't know if that matters or not. Seems to be keeping good humidity. The bag is looking gnarly. It does not seem to be getting the B. linens on it. That it's not turning the reddish color that I want, and it always feels a little bit dry in this bag. And I'm not sure why. I mean, no, it's definitely getting a little bit sticky. But it's not really red. So I think I probably need to refresh the B. linens, that mixture. I think that's technically only good for 2 weeks-ish, maybe? I'm not sure. So I am going to cheat today. Right here I have another cheese I'm doing. This is my Appenzeller, and she has good B. linens on. She smells like feet. She has a good funk going. So I'm going to wash her, and then I'm going to use my dirty hands and wash this one, and hopefully that will cross-contaminate and like kickstart it. Instead of having to make a new B. linens mixture, why not use the B. linens that I already have naturally here and just, you know, steal them. That's my plan. So the Zella mixture, I call it BT because it has B. linens in it, and it has herbs and homemade mead. Okay, so there's the Appenzeller, and now take in my dirty hands. Now I'm going to take my regular B. linen and I'm going to wash it. Hopefully that will make this pick up the pace a little bit. That didn't do anything last time that I can tell. Man, I wish the red would develop. Downstairs one. It smells kind of rotten. The bag is sticky. The cheese is a little bit sticky, but there's not the redness. I am going to now put this down on my new cheese cave. Since starting this cheese, we got a new cave. As of several days ago, we have a brand new humidifier in it, and I have the humidity cranked up way high, and I'm putting some actual cheeses in there. Right here, it's set for 92. The humidity has dropped to 86%, and we'll be going back up shortly. Oh, look at all the humidity. Do you see that? Do you see that whole cloud of it? So can you see that it's shooting off steam right there? That's shooting out steam. And so far, I do not get that it is like clinging to it at all. I think it's doing well. So I'm just gonna pop that back in that corner. Right now it's 76, according to this hygrometer. That one says 89. I don't know what's accurate. I'm gonna go with that one. I just flipped all the cheeses, and so that's why everything dropped. So now it's pumping it back out. You guys, I think this is looking better. It's getting a little bit of orangey color. It has the gorgeous white. It has been just sitting out at like 95% humidity in the cheese cave. I'm going to put a little bit more of the wash on it just for insurance. I'm really, really liking how that looks. It's looking pretty amazing. Just letting it age. It feels hard. It's not cracking at all. It's looking good. It is looking fabulous. It does not change. It is not moving. It is as stable as you can make a cheese. So I'm gonna let it just keep doing its thing. It's like a sleeping baby. If it's sleeping, you do not bother it. Guess what it's time for? We're gonna cut into the Tête de Moine. I am a little nervous. It looks dry, it looks hard. It's not cracked, but my fear is that it is getting too hard and it is not going to cut when we do this cutty thing. It's going to be too much of a dry, brittle cheese. So let's go see what we've got. Here we go. There's a little bit of blue mold on there. There's some white, but their picture was kind of like wrinkly, almost white. This feels really hard. Like, yikes. Let's brush some of this mold off. This was never washed. Lovely. Forget that. I'm going to use a cloth. Okay, that looks like a cheese, right? Right. So this is what the board is. Has these little notches in it to hold the cheese. And then this screws into here. That comes off. And then this is a sharp, yikes. That's a sharp blade right there. So this is gonna go down like that. But we have to get this cheese on. Hi, I'm filming a cheese.
Dress?
It's not a dress. It's a junky skirt. You need help?
I have to wait 5 minutes.
You have to tell them.
I just did.
They didn't hear you. You have to come over here and talk to them. Do you have a message for them?
I said, you guys are gonna have to wait because I need my mom's help and it's my turn. You need to share her.
Someone's at the door. you go get it. You go get it. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to cut it like maybe in half so that we can use half for now and half for later, potentially, if this is any good. I'm nervous. I'm so afraid it's not gonna work. It's really dry. Oh, it smells good. Look at that color. See, that's the center. So I just cut a little hole in there. I'm afraid this is gonna split. Here we go. Get it down on there. Oh, got it on. Okay. Here's a piece of the cheese. Let's taste it. It's very good. It's like creamy, nutty, buttery. Dang it, y'all. I kind of feel like my cheeses are all starting to taste the same. Did I want to say that out loud? I don't know. It's really good, but it's also, you know, a cheese. Should we see if this works? I'm afraid I'm going to cut myself. It's going to slip. How do you do this? Dang it. Oh, maybe I'm doing it too hard. It makes little flowers. It does. Holy cow. Y'all, I'm making a flower. Come on. Guys, pick up the flower. Oh, look. I got a flower. Look. Oh my goodness. This is like the most amazing thing. I don't think it's quite even yet. I think that's part of the reason it's having trouble. Oh my lands. Shaving it this way is the same way as aerating a wine. It allows the flavors to come out and to be, you know, this tastes differently when it's like a flour like that. It fills your mouth completely with cheese and it tastes dry. It tastes like it's creamy, it's flavorful, it's delicious, but it makes like a fuller, drier feeling. Like I wonder if this cheese was less dry, if it would taste less dry. This is absolutely phenomenal in the sense that it worked. Okay, to be fair to myself, I don't think that I can expect to have a perfect Tête de Moine the first time. The fact that this is curling, the fact that this works, the shape, everything works, is like a 10 out of 10. I do wish it was a little bit creamier, a little bit softer. I'm not sure how you actually eat these besides like putting a pretty flower on your salad. That's a good idea. Has a little bit of bee linen funk, but almost none. So I'm thinking like, why not do an Asiago like this or a Gruyere? Anything that's a little bit higher temp perhaps and not crumbly. Would a Gouda work? That might be a little bit too moist. So something a little bit drier to make a flower as a cool thing, cool way to cut it. Why not? I actually followed the instructions. I did very well. Didn't cut the cheese in half, stick it on the board and twist. And it also says turn clockwise and avoid applying too much pressure. So there you go, do it lightly. The reason that you keep it like this is that you can, as you go down, if it gets a little bit moldy, just shave it off and keep going. How you're supposed to eat this is shaved over salads, over burgers, over steak. They say it's a really good accompaniment with candied bacon or sour cherry jam. The best way to serve this though is the most eye-catching way is on a cheese board, of course. Pull this out for a party, shave it off, and people will be like, ooh. No, I think jam is a really good idea. Crackers and jam, let's try it. I've got some bacon, cold and looks kind of gross, but that's all right. That actually is really good. It kind of enhances the cheese. Let's try some peach jam and some cheese. That's really good too. Now, let's try some peach jam, cheese, and bacon. Haha, that's yummy. I wish this wasn't quite so dry. Okay, I want to melt one. Haha, stand it up one end. Okay, why isn't this melting? That's really weird. Yeah, I think it would melt well on a burger. It's not super oozy, but it melts. Let's see how it tastes. It's a little tougher, a little bit more elasticy. Tastes really good. Melted cheese, I mean, that's always going to taste good. I think what I'm going to do to package it, I'm going to put plastic over it. Poke. There we go. Got to get the oxygen out. And then I'll put a little bit of foil on top so it's not pokey. So now I know a little bit more about a tête de moine and how to do it. And that is exciting. And this is going to get just wrapped up in regular plastic for now. Maybe I'll start making more cheeses in this style so that we can have fancy parties.
This cheese is a little uneven.
Wow! Fancy. Like a flower.
A little cheese flour.
So I was a little bit hesitant about the tête de moine that I showed you, but since then, I've been getting out and we have been making flowers and serving it when we've had people over. I have been eating the leftover flowers. So for example, here's a flower that was just sitting in the fridge, chilling, from yesterday. Darling, stop rattling. So just little flowers here. I've been taking them and I kind of break them up, make them flakies, and then I'm eating them with these almond crackers and they are so good. The cheese tastes meaty and it does not taste dry to me anymore. I mean, it is dry, but it's not like mouth-drawing dry. It tastes like a good dry. It's really yummy. So just break them up like this and just kind of peel them open and then eat them with crackers. And it's delicious. You guys, I just went down to the cheese cave to check on the cheeses and I wanted to bring up this tête de moine to wrap and look at it. The cheese cave is kind of going crazy down there. It's a little bit of a jungle. It just smells like basement. It's kind of gross. Not my goal. I do have a blue cheese down there, but it is in a box and I thought it was sealed, but maybe not enough. Or maybe this is just regular basement mold. I don't know. I took this cheese into work yesterday and gave it to a bunch of people and they really enjoyed it. Feedback I got was that it reminded a number of people of a Parmesan, but not a Parmesan. It kind of reminded them of a cheddar, but not a cheddar. One of the guys who is a culinary school trained chef said that they use that curly thing in fancy restaurants for chocolate, for butter, to make all kinds of pretty things. So there you go. If you're thinking of getting one, now you have a culinary chef telling you what to do. I guess I should put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's still not great. Dang it, I really botched that one. I should have backpacked it right away. Do not plastic wrap your stupid cheeses in the cheese cave once they're cut open. Jeez, Jennifer, you should know that. Taking a bit of a wet rag so dust doesn't go up everywhere. It gets sticky as soon as you do that because this is a bee linen cheese, obviously. Guess the chickens will be happy for this. I'm gonna eat some of it and see. Yeah, it tastes like basement. It's not great. Ugh, I do not like that basement taste. One more quick trim. I'm gonna say it's good enough. And these pieces can probably be eaten. Such a good cheese. Hopefully that will stabilize it. Now I can go back to the cave. Should have done that in the beginning.